Hello there, Aries. Thank you so much for stopping by. What we're doing is just a weekly forecast for you. I just cleared the cards. I'm still shuffling, and then we'll put the cards down and see what comes up. We are going to look at different things going on as far as themes for you during the week. We're going to look at the lesson or experience or focal point of the week, and then we're going to look at what happens as you incorporate that lesson or experience into your life. These can actually take a little longer or a little less than a week, just kind of depending how quickly or how much you actually accept or reject the lesson or experience. So, Aries, for the week of April 1st through the 7th, the first thing I'm seeing for your environment, an environment is anywhere that you have energy or effort invested. Usually it's home, sometimes it's school or work. What I'm seeing coming up here is that you guys are feeling less than secure in your environment. There are some questions about what you actually um, can do to lengthen the time of your environment or make your environment more secure or more stable. Now, for some of you, this feels like it's more of a work situation than a home situation. But for others of you, this is going to be about home, that things are feeling insecure. Maybe this has to do with being with family members for Easter and that kind of drama. And for those of you that it's work, it could be, just that things are all weird with different schedules and everything for Easter just as well, or it could be something else, but things are not feeling very stable for you and your environment. Second thing I'm looking at for you, Aries, talks to me about your subconscious leanings during this week. And what I have here is you guys are looking to figure out how you can even things out in some way, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in your finances, you're trying to catch up on some bills, you're trying to get people to pay you back, you're trying to have your relationships be more reciprocal. Your subconscious is really working on how to even things out in some part of your life that does not feel very even to you, looking for some solutions there. The next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style. Right now, I think, Aries, there are some things that you are afraid of, and I think that you're afraid that what these things are could be right around the corner. And so some of you are doing research and finding out, okay, what am I going to do if this thing happens? So basically what's going on is your learning style has a lot to do with you facing your fears. You're learning what you need to know to make sure that, if whatever it is that you're worried about or nervous about happens, what am I going to do to be prepared for that? How am I going to be ready for that? So that's what I see coming in as your learning style, Aries, and then as your communication style during this week. What I've got going on is that it seems to me like there is some communication going on, but I feel like it's a little bit reluctant or shy. There's something that you're not sure you actually want to communicate to somebody else. And so I think that what you're doing is you're sort of dropping little hints, testing the water, seeing if this other person is ready to hear what it is that's on your mind or not before you actually come out with the full thing. And you may not come out with the full thing during this week. Looking at this card, I kind of wonder if you ever come out with what's really on your mind. I think that you just kind of put in a toe and put in another toe and put in another toe very slowly. So that's learning style and communication style for the week. Next thing we're looking at talks to me about work. And as a lot of you know, I'm funny about work because I see it as those things um, that we do to make a living or to feel productive in the community. But I also see work as those things that we do to improve our own character and make us happier with who we are. So we're going to look at both ways. We're going to look at outer work first, which is, that work that has to do with the community, and then we'll look at inner work next. So for outer work, I see that there's really some confusion in outer work for you. You may have some choices about jobs that you can do. You may be juggling contracts if you're a contractor and trying to put enough energy and effort to make both or multiple ones move forward, and you may be really running low on time to do all of the projects you would like to do. So work can be very hectic right now just because there's not, I think that it's really hard for you to prioritize what's the most important thing and focus on that until it's knocked out and then move on to the next thing. I think you're having to do a lot of here and there and there and there kind of work. Okay. So multitasking but not being able to make the progress that you want to make with anything because your attention keeps being diverted. Now, as far as inner work, what's going on here is I feel like you are um, stressing out a little bit because you're having a hard time prioritizing or making a particular decision. And so your inner work is really about figuring out what is the most important to you and how to make decisions. If we know what's the most important to us, then decisions come a lot easier. And so I think that's where you're really going right now with your inner work, is figuring out what is the most important to you. Okay, so next thing we're going to look at for you, Aries, for April 1st through 7th, we're going to look at that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. So for some of you, this is going to be a little different than others. For some of you, I feel like you are uh, really growing or expanding that part of your personality, which is, that away from home. How do I act away from home? How do I present myself away from home? How do I take care of my business away from home? Okay. I know a lot of people are traveling over Easter, so I'm sure that's going to fit for a lot of you, Aries. But for others of you, this is coming in, for maybe like 30% of you, this is coming in about, this is growing or expanding in how to carry yourself when you're away from someone that you care about. So maybe your Easter travels have taken you away from your significant other. Maybe the significant other had to work, or maybe you had to work and they're traveling. And so there's a separation there. And so, part of this is, how am I coping with this separation? What am I doing with this so that I can make things better? So that's where you're growing or expanding. That's the theme for this week. Doesn't mean it's going on all week, but it is a main focus during the week. Then the next thing that I have coming up talks to me about those things that you stand for. And so to me, what I'm seeing here is that friendship. You're big on friendship right now, and you're really standing up for friendship. And there may be somebody who you consider a friend that, somebody around you says, why are you friends with that person? Like, what do they have to offer? Or, that person really is like really mean and hateful. Why do you hang out with them, or whatever? And so you're standing up for that friendship. You're saying, look, I'm sorry, but I see that person in a different light than you, or whatever it is. And you're having to tell this other person, this critical person, you know what? Step off the curb. You don't have to be friends with them, but I get to. Okay. The next thing that we have coming up is how other people perceive you. What I have showing up here is that other people are seeing you as somebody who is relaxing. You're not taking a lot of action. You're not doing inspired, productive work right now. You're relaxing. You're chilling out. That's how other people perceive you at the moment. Okay. And then what comes up as the lesson or experience for the week is that there's going to be lots and lots of communication for you, Aries. Lots of information going back and forth between you and other people. And I do feel like this is 2 or 3 other people especially, that there's a lot of communication, maybe a lot of text messages, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails going back and forth. And so listener experience is really how to stay on your toes while all of this is going on. I think that because of all this communication, things are changing and updating quickly. And so you're having to keep on your toes with all of that. As there's all this communication going on, it looks like you're also having to think fast on your feet, because you are realizing that there's something that has been dragging you down or weighing you down, pulling you like a block of concrete in a river. You don't want to necessarily be attached to that. And I feel like you guys are walking away from whatever that block of concrete is. You're looking for something that's going to be something that will lift you up, that will rejuvenate you instead of dragging you down. And so that's one of the things that's coming up as you're doing all this communication. The other thing that's coming up as you're doing all this communication is, I feel like whoever it is that you're walking away from is going to be reacting in a very rash way. And you're going to have to um, handle that, or cope with that, or deal with that in some way, mitigate that even in some cases. All right. And so I think that what ultimately is going to happen is, you're trying to walk away from a situation on peaceful terms as friends, and have things that will work out in a civilized manner, even though uh, it's not a good fit for you anymore, and this other person is giving you so much backlash and so much trouble about this, that ultimate fulfillment of the week, I think you're going to end up cutting this person off. Like, you may end up blocking them on the phone. You may end up telling them, look, I tried to do this in a way so that we could be friends, but obviously that isn't going to work. So I'm not speaking to you anymore. I'm sorry. And that's going to be the end of that. Okay, so that's what I've got coming up for your week, Aries, the 1st through the 7th. These are just main themes. They're not everything that's happening during the week. So hopefully you can take this information and find it useful. And of course, it is a general reading, so not everything is going to apply to every single Aries out there. You guys know how that works. If you guys would like to have a more specific reading where I can look at strictly your energies, all you have to do is check out my website, www.amista.info. All my contact information is there. Just get with me and we'll get something scheduled for you quickly. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by to hang out. Thank you for the thumbs ups. I do appreciate that. Everyone have a fantastic, wonderful Easter. Peace out.